Christine, how much does it hurt the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out?
It is devastating to the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out.
Now, I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said, one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion.
This is the tale of a league that keeps failing while its golden goose lies injured on the sidelines, and how their obstinate refusal to face reality is costing them millions of dollars every day. The WNBA is in a devastating financial freefall, watching helplessly as their entire empire collapses without Caitlin Clark on the court, and once again demonstrating that this league has learned absolutely nothing about protecting the one player who single-handedly dragged them from obscurity into the spotlight.
And the truth is the truth, and the data is there. And what we saw when Caitlin was out the last time, the 5 games that she missed earlier in the season, the WNBA's viewership dropped more than 50%. Not just the Fever, but the entire league.
The harsh reality of the WNBA's reliance on one player was made public when Clark was sidelined with a quad injury on May 24th. Now that she is out again with a groin injury, who knows when we will witness a recurrence of what happened? Facts have become as rare in this era of manufactured drama and social media controversy as sold-out WNBA games without Caitlin Clark.
Injury jumped to her groin likely because of compensation, but the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlin need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlin is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through All-Star, then so be it.
WNBA games involving the Indiana Fever saw a 53% decrease in viewership, from an average of 1.81 million when Clark played to just 847,000 without her. However, this is where the story becomes completely absurd, and by absurd, we mean predictably disastrous for a league that doesn't want to learn from its own mistakes.
Went down. The WNBA ratings have dropped over 55%. Across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
League is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA, guys.
Sidelined with a left quad strain May 24th. National TV viewership has plunged since then 55%. Before the injury, they Fever, her team, were averaging 1.81 million viewers. Yeah. Almost 2 million. Since her injury, fewer than 850,000.
The WNBA did nothing to safeguard their most valuable asset while Caitlin Clark was busy doing what she does best: filling arenas to capacity, shattering television ratings records, and making record-breaking money. It seems that when a player is solely in charge of 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity, the natural reaction is to allow opponents to target her with impunity while lecturing everyone about basketball plays.
News is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA. At the end of this season, the WNBA will go into CBA negotiations. If negotiations go well, then every single player in the WNBA has a much better chance of making so much more in their next contract. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated her.
What's especially intriguing, by which I mean extremely infuriating, is how this exact situation has happened before, but the league doesn't seem to be able to learn from its own past. This isn't the first time the WNBA has seen its revenue and ratings plummet when its biggest star is hurt. It's like watching someone touch a hot stove and get burned, then instantly reach for it again while claiming they had no idea what would happen.
What's really concerning about this is the fact that we are only a month into the regular season, and Caitlin Clark has already been out with 2 injuries. with the first one being her having to miss some time with a left quad strain. Now, of course, this is concerning because if you're already on your second injury, you don't want to be that player that is always hurt. Cough, cough, Embiid, cough, cough, Anthony Davis. So I really do hope that the Fever really sits her out right now for a while, only because you don't want her to have more long-term injuries and be more prone.
If you're having fun, please subscribe. The financial destruction has happened quickly and brutally, as Fever game ticket prices have fallen by 71%, with some going from $860 to $250. The league road games that had been rescheduled to larger arenas specifically to accommodate the demand for Clark tickets are now having difficulty filling venues that would have been packed to capacity with her presence. This is evident from the startling drop in average ticket prices across Clark's missed games, which went from $1,370 to $80. One of the season's most anticipated games, the Chicago Sky vs. Fever rematch, saw ticket prices plummet from $210 to $95. In the past, this contest attracted 2.25 million people, making it one of the most viewed WNBA games ever. However, without Clark, it would just be another game that casual fans would not care to watch.
Man, bruh. Congratulations to the WNBA. Your ratings are gonna drop by 55 to 60% once again. I believe the WNBA have successfully broken Caitlin Clark.
One of the most outspoken critics of the WNBA's treatment of its star player, Christine Brennan, is a seasoned sports journalist whose next book, On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, promises to reveal the league's shortcomings. The WNBA continues to fall short of expectations. Following yet another event in which opponents targeted Clark, Brennan tweeted, "People are watching like never before, and this is what they see." Brendan's criticism gets right to the point. The league has data indicating that Clark alone attracts more than half of its TV audience, but they still let her get cheap shots and hard fouls that are only intended to scare their biggest draw. It's like watching a restaurant owner let patrons harass the chef whose food is the only reason people come in.
As big a deal as Tiger was in men's golf, Keith, he did, and when he was gone, it affected the ratings, but nothing like that. And, Michael Jordan being out, maybe a 5 percentage points or something. Nothing like this. You can make a strong case, and I will make that case, and have that there is no one single athlete more important to his or her sport or tour, or whatever the circuit is that they play on, than Caitlin Clark is to the WNBA.
Of the 30 flagrant fouls the league awarded in 2024, 5 were committed against Clark with the Chicago Bulls. The trend has grown so dreary that opponents who appear more intent in making statements than playing basketball foul Clark harshly. It's a no-win situation that the league has created and won't address, and Sky is accountable for 80% of the flagrant fouls against her. When she reacts to the physical play, she is criticized for being too aggressive, and when she doesn't respond, she is criticized for being soft. Meanwhile, the financial impact continues to devastate not only the Fever but the entire WNBA ecosystem. Despite the Clark-driven surge in popularity, the league was already predicted to lose $50 million this year, and those losses are mounting at an alarming rate as television ratings plummet, merchandise sales slow, and attendance figures return to pre-Clark levels.
I don't even know where to begin, man. I hope Caitlin Clark is okay. I want to know when this injury even happened, bro, because let's be serious here. She has the quad injury. Mind you, Caitlin Clark hadn't missed a game since she was like 19 years old, since she was like 18 in college or something. Now she has a groin injury. We've never seen Caitlin Clark play as bad as she played the last 3 games. Let's just be serious here. She's like 1 for 20-something on threes in the last 3. We've never seen her shoot the ball this way. I'll say that. Has she been hurt and playing through this?
The league could have welcomed her, protected her, and used her popularity to elevate the entire sport, but instead they allowed jealousy and small-time politics to taint what should have been a celebration of women's basketball. This is the most damning aspect of the whole situation. Clark entered the league as a humble rookie who frequently praised her teammates and diverted attention from herself. She handled criticism with remarkable grace and maturity for someone who was only 22 years old. The consequences of a clerk's injuries go well beyond ticket sales and television ratings. Corporate sponsors are increasingly doubting the wisdom of their millions of dollars invested based on the clerk-driven development. This circumstance highlights a serious issue with the WNBA's self-positioning. It appears like the league is torn between wanting to be recognized as a legitimate professional basketball league and embracing any manufactured controversy that could spark social media interest. Professional leagues uphold the integrity of competition and safeguard their stars. High school theater clubs stir up controversy in the hopes that someone would take notice.
I admire about Caitlyn, she's a warrior. She's tough. You hear me? Bruh, you just don't see players, you don't see female basketball players like her. I'm sorry. I done seen a lot of female basketball players, like I said.